Welcome to the School of the Lost Tribes. Your charity helps generate the lessons needed to seal the chosen before the destruction. 2 Ezra 8:17. Therefore I will pray before thee for myself and for them, for I see the failings of us who dwell in the land. Ezra now turns fully into intercession. After acknowledging Yahawah's righteousness, Israel's condition, and the reality that only a few shall be saved, he does not become silent or indifferent. Instead, he begins to pray. Therefore I will pray before thee. Ezra responds to all that has been revealed, not with rebellion, but with supplication. This shows the right spirit of a righteous man. When he sees judgment and human weakness, he turns to Yahawah in prayer. For myself and for them. Ezra does not place himself above the people. Even though he is righteous, he includes himself in the plea. This is the spirit of a true servant. He stands with the people before the Most High. He is not proud or self-exalting. He knows that all depend on mercy. For I see the failings of us. Ezra is honest about Israel's condition. He sees the shortcomings, sins, weaknesses, and covenant failures of the people. He is not blind to their rebellion, nor does he excuse it. He sees clearly that the nation is flawed, who dwell in the land. This points to the people living in the present condition of the earth, especially the covenant people in their scattered, weakened, and sinful state. Ezra's concern is not abstract. He is looking at the actual condition of Yahawah's people as they live in the land and in the world under corruption. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, this verse is very important. Ezra's burden is for Israel. He sees that the people chosen by Yahawah, the inheritance and seed of Jacob, are full of failings. Because of that, he prays not only for himself, but for the whole people. This verse teaches that the righteous response to seeing Israel's sins is not pride, mocking, or separation in arrogance. It is lamentation and intercession. Ezra sees the failings of the people, and that sight drives him to prayer before Yahawah, or 2 Ezra 8:18. And I have heard of the swiftness of the judgment that is to come. Ezra adds another reason for his prayer. He not only sees the failings of the people, but he also understands that judgment is coming quickly. This gives urgency to everything he is saying. And I have heard. Ezra is not speaking from guesswork. He has received revelation. He has heard directly about the judgment from the message given to him. That means his fear and sorrow are grounded in truth, not emotion alone. Of the swiftness. The judgment is described as swift because once Yahawah moves to execute it, there will be no delay, no long process of appeal, and no opportunity to change what has already been sealed. The time for repentance belongs to the present age. Once judgment comes, it comes with decisiveness. Of the judgment that is to come, Ezra is looking ahead to the future reckoning, the moment when Yahawah will separate the righteous from the rebellious. This is not only a temporal judgment in history, but the greater judgment tied to the end of the age and the world to come. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, this verse explains why Ezra is so burdened for Israel. He sees their sins, and he knows the coming judgment will not linger forever. The Most High has been patient, but the day approaches when each one will bear his own righteousness or unrighteousness. So Ezra's prayer is urgent because Israel is failing, judgment is certain, and the time to seek mercy is now. This verse teaches that once a person understands the speed and certainty of Yahawah's judgment, they should not delay in prayer, repentance, and obedience. 2 Ezra 8:19. Therefore hear my voice, and understand my words, and I will speak before thee. The beginning of the words of Ezra's prayer before he was taken up. He said, Ezra now formally begins his prayer with a tone of earnest urgency and reverence. After confessing the failings of the people and acknowledging the swiftness of coming judgment, he calls on the Most High to hear and understand his petition. Therefore, hear my voice. Ezra is asking Yahawah to receive his prayer attentively. This is not casual speech. It is the cry of a servant burdened for himself and for Israel. He is coming before the Most High with seriousness, knowing the matter is weighty. And understand my words. Ezra is not implying that Yahawah lacks understanding. Rather, this is a plea for divine regard, for the Most High to look upon the intention, sorrow, and intercession behind his words. Ezra wants his prayer to be received with favor. "And I will speak before thee." Ezra places himself in the proper posture of prayer, standing before Yahawah, speaking as a servant before the king. This shows humility, boldness, and responsibility. He is not speaking to men now, but directly before the throne of the Most High. The beginning of the words of Ezra's prayer. This marks a transition. What follows is not ordinary conversation, but a set-apart intercessory prayer. Ezra has been reasoning, questioning, and lamenting, but now he enters into a deeper plea before Yahawah. Before he was taken up. This note highlights the solemnity of the moment. Ezra's prayer is given before a major divine event in his life. It sets these words apart as a serious and prophetic appeal. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, this verse is significant because Ezra is about to pray specifically concerning Israel, Yahawah's inheritance, the seed of Jacob. He has heard of coming judgment, and he knows the people are failing. So before anything further happens, he speaks before Yahawah on behalf of the covenant nation. This verse teaches the right response to truth. Hear the warning, see the failings, understand the judgment, then go before Yahawah in prayer. Ezra does not stop at knowledge. He turns knowledge into intercession. 2 Ezra 8:20. O Lord, who inhabitest eternity, whose eyes are exalted, and whose upper chambers are in the air. Ezra opens his prayer by magnifying the majesty, position, and sovereignty of the Most High. Before he asks anything, he establishes who Yahawah is. O Lord, who inhabitest eternity. Ezra acknowledges that Yahawah is not bound by time. He dwells in eternity, beyond the limits of man's short life, beyond generations, kingdoms, and ages. This matters because Ezra has just been grieving over the brief life of man and the swiftness of judgment. In contrast, Yahawah stands above all time, seeing the beginning and the end together. Whose eyes are exalted. The eyes of the Most High are lifted far above the sight of men. This shows that his vision is perfect, high, and unclouded. He sees all things, Israel's sins, their suffering, their failures, and also the hearts of the righteous remnant. Nothing is hidden from him. And whose upper chambers are in the air. Ezra describes Yahawah's dwelling as high above the earth, showing his heavenly rule and separation from the corruption below. His chambers being in the air points to his supreme throne above creation, ruling from on high while men dwell in weakness and dust below. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, this verse is important because Ezra begins his intercession by remembering that the one he is praying to is eternal, all-seeing, and enthroned above all. That means Yahawah is fully able to judge Israel rightly, but also fully able to hear the cry of his servant concerning his inheritance. Ezra teaches here that the proper beginning of prayer is not man's problem, but the greatness of the one being addressed. Before speaking about Israel's trouble, he first lifts up the majesty of Yahawah, 2 Ezra 8:21, whose throne is beyond measure and whose glory is beyond comprehension, before whom the hosts of angels stand trembling. Ezra continues exalting the greatness of the Most High before making his request. He is showing that the one he is praying to is not like man, nor can he be measured by human thought, whose throne is beyond measure. The throne represents Yahawah's rule, authority, and dominion. To say it is beyond measure means his kingship cannot be contained, limited, or compared. No earthly throne, kingdom, or power can stand beside his, and whose glory is beyond comprehension. Yahawah's glory is too great for the human mind to fully grasp. Ezra is confessing that the Most High is far above man's understanding. His splendor, holiness, and power are not things that flesh can fully take in, before whom the hosts of angels stand trembling. Even the angels, mighty as they are, do not stand casually before him. They tremble in reverence, fear, and awe. This shows how holy and terrible Yahawah is in majesty. If the angelic host trembles before him, then man must come with even greater humility. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, Ezra is preparing the ground for intercession by first magnifying the one who rules over Israel. He is not speaking before a tribal god or a weak deity, but before the eternal king, whose throne is immeasurable and whose glory causes angels to tremble. This verse teaches that before speaking about Israel's sorrow, Israel's failings, or Israel's hope, the servant must first remember the overwhelming majesty of Yahawah. The higher Ezra lifts the Most High, the more serious the prayer becomes. 2 Ezra 8:22. And at whose command they are changed to wind and fire, whose word is sure, and whose utterances are certain, whose ordinance is strong, and whose command is terrible. Ezra continues lifting up the majesty of the Most High, showing that Yahawah is not only exalted in throne and glory, but also absolute in power and authority. At whose command they are changed to wind and fire. This refers to the angels and heavenly hosts mentioned in the previous verse. At Yahawah's command, they are transformed and sent forth as instruments of his will. Wind and fire symbolize power, speed, judgment, and divine force. Ezra is showing that all heavenly powers are under his direct control. Whose word is sure. Whatever Yahawah speaks is firm, dependable, and unbreakable. His word does not fail. If he promises mercy, it stands. If he declares judgment, it also stands. There is no uncertainty in him. And whose utterances are certain. Ezra repeats the thought for emphasis. What Yahawah says is fixed truth. His speech is not like man's speech, which can deceive, weaken, or change. His utterances are final and trustworthy. Whose ordinance is strong. His decrees, laws, and judgments are powerful and established. Nothing can overturn what he has set in place. His order governs heaven, earth, life, death, and the age to come. And whose command is terrible. Terrible here means awe-inspiring and fearsome. Yahawah's command carries such authority that it shakes heaven and earth. His judgments are not light matters. What he commands must be obeyed, because his authority is overwhelming. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, this verse deepens Ezra's prayer by reminding us that the one he is addressing is the ruler of the angels, the source of unbreakable truth, and the giver of terrible commands. That means when Yahawah speaks about the few being saved, the judgment to come, and the fate of Israel, his word must be taken seriously. Ezra is not praying before one who can be persuaded by emotion alone, but before the all-powerful judge whose word is sure. This verse teaches that true prayer begins with a right view of Yahawah's power, certainty, and fearful authority. 2 Ezra 8:23. Whose look dries up the depths, and whose indignation makes the mountains melt away, and whose truth is established forever. Ezra continues exalting the power and majesty of the Most High, showing that all creation responds to his presence. Whose look dries up the depths. The depths represent the great waters, the deep places, the hidden and powerful parts of creation. Ezra is saying that even a look from Yahawah is enough to dry them up. This shows his power is effortless. He does not struggle against creation. The things that appear vast and untouchable to man are nothing before him. And whose indignation makes the mountains melt away. Mountains symbolize strength, permanence, kingdoms, and what seems unmovable. Yet when Yahawah is angry, even mountains melt. This shows that no earthly power, no nation, no system, and no proud man can stand when his judgment is stirred. What man sees as firm, Yahawah can dissolve in a moment, and whose truth is established forever. After speaking of his power in judgment, Ezra ends by grounding everything in truth. Yahawah's truth is eternal. It does not change with time, culture, nations, or the opinions of men. What he has spoken remains fixed forever. His law is true, his promises are true, and his judgments are true. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, this verse reminds us that the one Ezra is praying to is powerful enough to shake creation, terrible enough to melt mountains, and truthful enough that every word he has spoken concerning Israel must stand. So when Yahawah speaks of judgment on the rebellious, mercy on the repentant, and salvation for the remnant, none of it can fail, because his truth is established forever. Ezra is teaching by his prayer that the Most High is not only merciful and exalted, he is also the one whose power no one can resist, and whose truth no one can overturn. 2 Ezra 8:24. Hear, O Lord, the prayer of thy servant, and give ear to the petition of thy creature. Attend to my words. Ezra now moves from praising the greatness of the Most High into a direct plea for audience. He has already magnified Yahawah's eternal throne, his fearful glory, and the certainty of his word. Now he asks that this exalted king would actually listen to his prayer. Hear, O Lord, the prayer of thy servant. Ezra comes as a servant, not as one demanding anything. He knows his position before Yahawah. This shows humility. At the same time, he is bold enough to ask to be heard, because he is burdened for Israel and for himself. And give ear to the petition of thy creature. Ezra calls himself Yahawah's creature, reminding us that he is made by the hands of the Most High. The one praying is dust and workmanship. The one being addressed is eternal and enthroned above measure. This makes the request even more humble. Ezra is saying, in effect, I am only what thou hast made, yet I ask thee to listen. Attend to my words. Ezra is asking for more than sound to be heard. He is asking for regard, for Yahawah to look upon the meaning, grief, and sincerity of his prayer. He wants his words to be received with divine attention. Within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites, this verse is important because Ezra is not praying as an isolated man with private concerns only. He is about to speak as one carrying the burden of Yahawah's inheritance, Israel, and the seed of Jacob. So this plea to be heard is tied to covenant intercession. This verse teaches the spirit of true prayer, humility before the Most High, awareness that we are his creation, and earnest desire that he would hear and attend. Ezra shows that before asking for mercy, a servant must first seek the ear of Yahawah. Letter to the chosen. As you become sealed by the knowledge of Yahawah, begin to pray that you may become a true disciple of Christ. Ask him for knowledge, for understanding, and that he reveal his secrets unto you, just as he did for our brother Ezra. Then you will begin to understand why your friends, your family, your brother, your sister, your mother, and your father may not comprehend these verses. Some will not understand at all. Many of them will apply pressure, resist, mock, or lie against the truth. But know this, life and death are set before you. Choose life. Let the dead bury their dead, but you must survive and keep your spirit sealed. Your body is flesh, and the flesh will always fail you. That is why you must prepare for immortality and for a changed mind. When that mind is renewed, the laws of Yahawah will become like drinking water to you, natural, inward, and life-giving. They will no longer feel strange or burdensome, but will become an internal gift that you receive through obedience, wisdom, and the Spirit. Stand firm, guard your spirit, seek understanding, pray for revelation, endure to the end. Shalom. Table of Contents. Introduction. Yahawah's exclusive covenant with Israel. The purpose of this book. No disparagement of non-Israelite races. The foundations used throughout this book. On the right foundation, Israel's covenant exclusivity. Believing Yahawah Shai and the consequences of unbelief. The exclusive nature of Israel in the Old Testament. The exclusive nature of Israel in the New Testament. Part 2. Replacement Theology. Examined. Dare we say the Church has replaced the 12 tribes of Israel, hope, the law, and Israel in the New Testament, the exclusivity of Israel in Ephesians, Philippians, and beyond, redemption and the many, the exclusive nature of Israel in the letters of James, Peter, John, and Jude, Israel in the book of Revelation, reactions and doctrinal challenges. Next steps in the book, common reactions to Israel's exclusivity, reactions to the exclusive doctrine of Israel expanded. Are there 2 or 3 witnesses for exclusive Israel? Separation, the world, and the gospel. Word meanings, understanding separation and the world. The world, cosmos, or oikoumeni. The 2 differing gospels, stumbling blocks to an exclusive Israel doctrine. Case studies, Israelites in dispersion. Peter's sheep vision, a closer examination. The Ethiopian eunuch, an Israelite in dispersion. The widow of Sarepta, an Israelite in dispersion. The Lord's Prayer, an exclusive Israelite perspective. Extra-scriptural doctrines exposed. The extra-scriptural doctrine of Judeans and Gentiles. Can strangers become Israelites? In thee shall all nations be blessed. That unfortunate word, Gentile. Yahawah Shai's ministry was not primarily to the Judeans or in Judea. Identity, history, and deception. Could the modern Judeans be Israel? Can the Judeans be identified? Josephus in his comments on the Judeans. Does Edom have any marks of identification today? Judeans who are non-Semitic. Historical commentary and records. What is their blasphemy? Anti-Semitism, a tool for deception, religious and political nonsense. Galatians, promise, and heirship. Galatians and Israel exclusivity. Interpreting Galatians in light of Israel exclusivity. Christos without Yesu, Messiah without Jesus. Can the promises to Abraham's seed be spiritualized? Who are the heirs according to the promise? In Christ versus in Jesus. Neither Judean nor Greek. Who are the Greeks? Israel in the entire New Testament. Sonship, adoption, and faith. Isaac, hearing faith and freeborn sons. In thee shall all nations be blessed. Revisited. The promise in thy seed in the New Testament. The biblical concept of adoption. The placement of a son. Analysis of the 5 adoption verses. Understanding the sons of Yahawah and the doctrine of adoption. Pilgrims, strangers, and Israel, New Testament strangers. Seed, rebirth, and sowing.